Yo, what is it, guys? AA Lightning here, back with another video, and today I'm going to be giving my Salaar Part 1 Ceasefire review. So, before we get into any spoilers or anything like that, I will start off with all the non-spoilers, and then before I start talking about spoilers, I will let you guys know. But even the spoiler section, I'm going to try to keep that as minimal as possible, just in case, you know, I'm just gonna try to avoid spoilers for the most part. But if you don't want to have any, if you don't want to have like any opinion before you go into the movie, please watch the movie and make an opinion for yourself. But before we get into any opinions, we need to talk about the facts. And the fact is, this movie has the highest opening day for an Indian film in the year of 2023. It beat out Leo for that #1 spot. And if you guys are wondering what the exact figure is, Leo had a 148.5 crore opening worldwide, while Prabhas's film Salaar has a 175 crore opening worldwide. So just fantastic things. And I mentioned this in my previous video. This movie is going to have a wonderful opening. It's going to have a wonderful box office run. So objectively, the start it's looking really good for this film. And if it can hold on, and the word of mouth and the public review continues to stay positive, it's looked pretty positive overall, then this film will have some success. But the public review might be positive now. There were some negative reviews, but what is my review? And I'll start off with the pros and then I'll go to the cons. So first of all, the background score was amazing. I talked about it in the trailer. As usual, when you have a big budget film like this, similar to KGF, the background score can make or break a movie, and it has definitely made this one. And hey, if you're a fan of Prabhas, this is you will absolutely enjoy this movie. It is the best he's been since Bahubali, no doubt about it. Maybe even like he was in top form. Same with Prithvi Raj. He was also in top form. So both of them were in top form throughout the movie. They both were looking fresh. There was a lot of action. And so if you are a fan of violence and action, and you are a fan of these two actors, I highly recommend you go and watch the movie with a big crowd. You will not be disappointed if you are a fan. Now, what did I think of this movie? So first off, I talked about the pros. Good comeback for Prabhas, and good background music. That may be it though. I will say the story. The overall story is also good. I said it was going to be pretty linear. There's nothing there's really no crazy plot twist. There's maybe like one or two, so look for those. But the story is pretty the story is pretty linear. Okay, it's like I said, it's not going to be a Christopher Nolan masterpiece. It's got the similar. Oh, wait. That's not the only praises I'm going to give. The set design, similar to KGF, I loved it. But that's it. The story was good. Solid, I won't say good. And the lead up to part 2, it'll get you invested. So even if part 1 wasn't your favorite thing, you'll be invested in part 2. Story was good. Acting was good. Prabhas and Prithvi Raj were good. And the background score was good. So where did this film go wrong? And let's talk about the cons now. And here's the thing. I'm just one person reviewing this film, and I actually have a very different opinion than a lot of other people out there. And that opinion is I didn't like the movie. And, well, I wouldn't say I didn't like it. There were good elements to it. So I would say as a whole, it definitely fell short of my expectations. And for one reason is that first half. And even though the first half felt like 20 minutes, I felt like the first half achieved nothing. And there was just so much buildup and so little stakes, because every time they were put in some kind of difficult situation, like he turned into like the Incredible. Like there was no stakes in the movie. There was no point where I felt worried about our protagonist or antagonist, and it was just mindless killing. and it's it's a trend that I don't want to see in the future. Because here's the thing, I love action and I love these high octane action movies. But when you really just drop the stakes that low, and there was one scene where there was like 50 or 60 armed men all lined up to shoot Prabhas, and they don't even have their guns loaded. Like, what? And they take a solid 15 seconds to load. Like, the logical flaws were huge in the movie, and obviously that's to be expected. This is not supposed to be a logical movie. The whole point of these movies is to be illogical. But when the logic is completely flawed, it takes away from the stakes. It just doesn't make an entertaining movie. It's hero worship at this point. Like, if you're a fan of the actor, you love the movie. But if you want to see, like, if you like, you know what I'm saying, there's just no stakes. Like, you can't enjoy a movie that has zero stakes to it. And I think part 2 will have stakes, so that's why I feel like part 2 will be a lot better. But this movie had no stakes, and that's my number one concern with the movie. Number 2 is it was way too much fan service, and what I mean by this is, like, we can relax. Like, movie never flows. It feels like we have a hero entry scene every time they're on the screen. And sure, some people might love this, and sure, it might be good for a crowd, but if you want a good movie, like an objectively good movie, it's not gonna cut it for you if you're worshiping the hero every 10 seconds. And, like, I don't know what to tell. Like, if you enjoy this, like, think of it from me. If you're in a big crowd and you live in India or somewhere, this might be you might have a blast at the theater. But one, the crowd isn't that loud. I mean, there was some noise in the crowd, but it wasn't anything crazy. And two, I don't want a hero worship scene every 2 seconds of the film. Like, I want the film to progress properly, and I want stakes to be there. Because I actually like the direction they took the story in. And that brings me with my third point. The direction of the story is fine, and it's good and all. But it was like, I felt after 2 hours and 55 minutes, they would have at least completed the flashback portion. Like, how little did they complete in that time was crazy, first of all. Like, it felt like they completed nothing. And coming out of the movie, I felt like I watched nothing. And even though there are some amazingly memorable moments, there are some fantastic moments, there's some Prabhas is in his finest form, as a whole movie, it just doesn't work. And it sets up part 2 well, but a setup movie with only hero worship just doesn't work at all. And my last point I want to get to is it's cringe. Now, I know that word is overused, and I know a lot of you are going to be disappointed that I said that, or mad, or I don't know. But don't try to find my address. But still, it's cringe. And what I mean by this is, like, it's so over the top. Like, I don't know what the writers thought when they were thinking this. Like, this is the type of thing you're thinking when you're in the shower. Like, this is gonna sound cool on screen, and it's like, it's not cool. It's the weakest punchlines ever. Like, when he picks up the fork and stuff, and his mom, there's just like a dramatic pause. Like, what is this? It's a plastic fork. Relax. Like, we don't have to go over this. And then, like, I really don't get this at all. And the moms in these Indian movies, they're horrendous. I have to say, I hate the sentiment between mother and son in the Indian movies. It doesn't feel authentic at all. It feels so forced. There's no authenticity to it. And it's complete garbage. It ruins the movie. But now that I got that all out of the way, I just want to give concluding thoughts. So overall, the film, if you're a Prabhas fan, you will absolutely love it. It was him in his peak form since Bahubali. And I think that's what the goal was. Well, obviously the goal was to make the movie good. I'm just hating at this point, but many people love this movie, so there's definitely a reason to that, which obviously I'm not seeing. But many people love this movie. That's an objective truth. Prabhas was in fantastic form. Prithviraj was in fantastic form, and those are the two main characters of the film. So they really just put this film on their back, and with a story, with like a massive grand scale story, this film works. It's just everything put together. It it just falls flat, especially with the low stakes and everything. But I'm excited for part two. I like how they led the story up. And they probably could have better used time management. But if in part two we have less hero worship and we get that Prithviraj Prabhas clash, I think the film will be very successful. Just as successful as part one is. Now don't get it twisted. Part one is not unsuccessful. It is a successful film. I just didn't like it. I think part two will be just as successful, and I will enjoy it. So yeah, let me know what you guys thought in the movie if you've seen it, and yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one.